welcome to Grand Sumo Breakdown, the unofficial sumo podcast for official sumo fans. This is Ryan.
Flerick.
Oh my God.
This is Jake. This is Mac. Come on.
I get the grade from Jacob. Apparently, I'm just straight
right,
CC plus.
You're a little bit more creativity with that. I'll give you some points.
Yeah, all right.
For the listeners who will certainly hear that edited out, I hope I remember to do so.
I'm gonna
Every
have
time
fun
we
with
start
that one.
recording, every time we hit record, Flerick swears so that we have to do some editing. Even if it's just chopping the beginning off, his goal in life is to make me do at least a little bit of editing. So he makes something at the beginning that I have to fix.
Chopping the beginning off. So if I do it like halfway
No,
through,
Flerick,
you just
you've already done it. Don't worry about it.
It's PG-13 rules. You can't. You
Yep.
already used it up. We're toast.
You get one. This is
okay.
1980s PG-13 rules, man.
And we're already 3 deep at this point. So with that being said, welcome to our Natsu preview for the Natsu 2024 Basho. We are recording this on Tuesday the 7th, 5 days prior to the start of the Basho. So we don't know who all will be pulling out of the tournament, if anybody. If I had to guess, at least one is pulling out, if not two. So we're going to dive into that just in case we completely forgot to mention it, which is highly likely.
Yeah, that'd be on level.
forget.
On level.
Go back about a month on the BBC's Global News podcast to hear about the winner of the Haru Basho, Takerufuji, from GSB's very own myself, Jake, and Mac.
GSP's very own myself.
Myself.
On the April 6th episode of the Happy Pod. So yeah, we were interviewed by the BBC. We add that to our list of we've been interviewed by the Wall Street Journal. We've been interviewed by Japan Times. We've been interviewed by the BBC. We're kind of a big deal.
Yeah. And Sumo Punks, I think.
Oh,
Have
no,
we
hey,
been on
that
them?
is prestigious.
I'm pretty sure we've been on Sumo Punks at some point.
I know you have.
I'm not sure I have, actually. I've done a lot of stuff with them, but I think they might have all been for...
Does that not count? I mean, all the other interactions we've had with the others, like, does that not count for being on? Or
Well, but I don't know if I don't know if we've been on an episode of their show or if we've just had them over here.
there's probably a lot of drinking when we were on their show, and we just all
Yes,
collectively-
you're right.
Well, yeah, I think that goes without saying.
Indeed.
All right. So before we get to the main sumo business, let's
If you would like to be a part of our show,
join our Patreon. Every dollar in the Patreon goes to improving the podcast quality and giving back to the fans, like the free t-shirt that we give away every Basho and the trading cards that we give away whenever I open up a new pack. There are 3 tiers that you can sign up at. The $1 friend of the show tier gets a compliment upon sign up and once during every Basho after sign up. Plus, it also gets you access to the Grand Sumo Breakdown Discord server. The $2 card collector level gets you everything in the $1 tier, plus the ability to receive a free trading card whenever we open up a new box. And the $3 BFF of the show gets everything in the $2 tier, plus the ability to ask a question that must be answered by the GSB crew. Any and all levels are highly appreciated, and we are very thankful for everybody's support. We do have one new patron that we must compliment that signed up between the Bashos. Jake, who is it?
Kenji Ulmer. If I were to go to a 4th sumo tournament in the last 2 months here, I would do it for you. But nobody else, because I've done too much traveling.
I was gonna say that's
dedication
high
right
praise right there.
Yep.
And thank you to all of our continuing patrons, especially Brendan Hannigan. You are like the Yokozuna of sumo fandom. Your dedication could rival even the mightiest rikishi on the dojo. With your enthusiasm, you could probably lift spirits as easily as a sumo wrestler lifts his opponent. Keep throwing your passion around like a perfect suridashi, because you're truly a grand champion of sumo enthusiasm.
We're still doing the Chat GPT thing.
It's easier.
Oh,
it's
how
so
can
much
you,
easier.
How can you not?
On one level, it's like, this is clearly Chat GPT. And on the second thought, I was like, that robot's way too smart. That's like properly using sumo
Exactly.
vocab.
I'm like, wow, that is
Yeah.
quite eloquent.
That's kind of frightening.
I still need work with it because I'm just using like I don't even know. I type in GPT and something comes up. And I was trying to get it to be like funny. I'm like, hey, you're like the biggest sumo fan. It's like, yeah, I'm the biggest sumo fan. I'm like, and you despise everybody who hates sumo. It's like, recognize people's differences and I don't judge them.
Throttle back.
I'm
I
like,
see.
come on,
The
ChatGPT,
robots are pretending.
do what I told you to do. You're
The
not
robots
supposed
are
to
just
think and have
pretending
a
to be
conscience.
nice.
Yeah.
Come on, robots, have a wait. No.
So then I just asked it for a compliment. Jake, what is our Amazumo update?
It will be difficult to keep this one quick, but I'll do my best here because, yes, like I mentioned, I have traveled to 3 sumo tournaments since last we chatted. The Sakura Cup, where Iowa Sumo earned a bronze medal in the teams division. Our teammate Brandon did the best out of anybody from Iowa in Sakura. But you can watch that one on the GSB YouTube channel. We were going to try and do it on the Tennessee channel, but had some trouble, so GSB was the backup. Then 1 week later, me and Fleric went to Roller Town in Dallas, Texas. That was awesome. Fleric got a Kachikoshi out of his 15
Kachikoshi.
matches in the same day. Yeah.
Nice.
A tournament was a blast. It was a marathon, and it was we will have an episode coming out in the next day or two. Fleric and I sat down with Goose and JJ of Salt City Sumo, who both traveled internationally to get to that tournament. It was a whole bunch of fun to meet them, to just see the biggest of all the party tournaments of the year. Then, just like 3 days ago, I was convinced to travel yet again. I say that with exasperation, but no, it was a lot of fun. Me and Brandon and Randy from Iowa Sumo all went out to Chicago for the Yokozuna Cup. Just a small local club tournament. It was kind of like a send-off to the gym that is closing down that Chicago has been training at for a while.
Oh, bummer.
So they put on like one last finale event. Bunch of fun. I actually got a couple legitimate wins at that one. Well, one was kind of cheeky, but one of them was good sumo. So there you go.
Did you, Henka?
No, but I definitely hit and then shifted to the side quicker than the guy was expecting.
Henka, no Henka. Got it. Hit and
Yeah.
shift.
And I'm sorry. The Roller Town event streams on you can rewatch it on the Dallas Sumo Club YouTube channel. The Yokozuna Cup you can find on the Chicago Sumo Club Facebook page. Okay, coming up this Saturday is the U.S. Open, the 24th, I believe, in Los Angeles. I'm not positive where that one streams. That one is always kind of an adventure to find out where to watch it and how to watch it if you don't catch it live. After that, 2 weeks after that, Iowa Sumo has a demo. If you want to come out to Des Moines, message us. And then 1 week after that, on the 1st of June, is U.S. Nationals. Check out Honu Sumo, Honu Sumo, all one word, on Instagram if you want to find the links to register. That will be in San Diego on June 1st. Big deal. Come out to see if you can qualify to go to Worlds in Poland this fall.
All
Okay,
right,
we can move on.
Very busy schedule that we've had and a very busy schedule coming up. And as always, before we dive into breaking down what we think is going to happen in the upcoming Basho, we have to take a look back at what happened in the previous Basho with B's report. So B, take it away.
Hey guys, B here with your horror review. So, who had living through literal once-in-a-generation history on their sumo bingo card for this year? Because I didn't. And it's honestly a little nerve-wracking as a fan for a couple of reasons. So, first off, pulling out the debut tournament U-show card is a big deal booking-wise. That's Takerufuji's legacy now, forever. And that's an automatic entry into history books. That's like when Orton became the youngest WWE champ. That's who he'll always be regardless of how the rest of his career goes, and that's a huge vote of confidence, but booking's going to look real stupid in hindsight if he ends up being a schlub or he can't get over. But what makes me nervous personally is this is pretty much how everyone felt when Tochinoshin won the U-show from Maegashira. It was a huge, big, special, important deal until they started doing it every other tournament. They beat that drum till it broke and created the Nothing Cup era in the process, so how many tournaments before they decide to do it again? The same thing happened with the Ozeki. they used to be these guaranteed hard matches and high records until the first Kadoban bounce back. And now, how many Ozeki do we have that they just completely geek out every tournament? We had 4, and we had 2 winning records, a weak winning record, and apparently it was just Kirishima's job to do the job this time. And honestly, with all these injuries, I can never tell if it's a work or a shoot, unless they bring out the big clown car wheelchair. That's like Sumo's dreaded X. Oh, one more thing. That line you guys had in the preview episode about if this is a scripted sport, way to keep it K-Floyd, boys. See you for Natsu.
We got it. We know
You
it's
got
up.
it.
Oh yeah, we stay in character.
All right. Well, I said we need to get through B before we start breaking down what's going to happen in the upcoming Basho, but we do have one more very unfortunate thing to we have to bring it up before we dive into anything else. But the 64th Yokozuna Akebono passed away in early April. He was 54 years old and died of heart failure. He was the first foreign-born Yokozuna, as he was hailing from Hawaii. He got 11 Yusho, 13 Jun Yusho, 6 special prizes, and 4 Kinboshi throughout his illustrious history-making career. We will probably have a lot more on Akebono in a future bonus episode, but we just wanted to make sure that we acknowledge that at the top of the episode, as that is a very large figure in the pantheons of sumo history that has passed away, unfortunately.
Yeah, a lot of us in America saw him on TV as a kid. Like anytime we reference or somebody mentions like, oh yeah, I saw sumo on ESPN as a kid or something like that. In general, that's mostly because of Akebono and the other 2 biggest names in sumo from the U.S. are Konishiki and Musashi Maru. But Akebono was definitely like the first among those 3, at least in terms of fame and success. He was the big one, and he's a big reason why a lot of us saw sumo as a kid, and maybe that helped us latch on as adults and become fans these days. But yeah, lots to say about Akebono, but we did do an episode on Americans in sumo, like 6 years ago, way at the beginning of our show. I haven't gone back and re-listened to it. I'm sure we're awful and new at being podcasters, but you can at least go and check that out. We run through his career highlights. Even though we were pretty new sumo fans ourselves at the time, but yeah, we'll probably have to revisit that because that's a major figure that we lost.
Absolutely. So with that all being said, let's finally dive into the upcoming Natsu Basho. And let's start with the young hotness. B brought him up. Let's start with our last Yusho winner, Takerufuji. And unfortunately, it's not all rainbows and sunshine for Takerufuji. I don't think there's any rainbows and sunshine for Takerufuji at this point in time right now. He obviously got injured on day 14 of the last Basho, was able to get shot up with enough painkillers that he could amble out onto the dojo for day 15 and somehow win his final match to win the Yusho. But he hasn't done any sumo since. He did not participate in the April Jungyo tour. As of, I think, Saturday or Sunday, haven't gotten any new reports from Isegahama Beya since then, but he has not participated in any practice bouts at this point. He's just been doing the basic exercises and lending his chest for Butsukari. Isegahama Oyakata says he has not done any sumo since his Yusho, and basics started only a few days ago, which as of this recording is about a week ago. Takerufuji, much to his character, much like he wanted to enter day 15 last Basho following the injury, he wants to enter the Basho. He is quoted as saying, I want to participate, but part of me is worried about not being 100% in shape, and he plans on making his decision at the last moment on whether or not he will enter. So, Fleric, let's just assume Takerufuji does enter this Basho. How do you think he would do at his rank of Maegashira 6? So well outside of the joy for him here.
Yeah, well, do I also assume that he's like done? He's
Assume
like
whatever
injured?
you want to do. Yeah, assume
Assume
whatever you
whatever
want.
do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Assume he enters, but at this level of injury.
At this level of injury. Okay. So that's a tough one. I think he's proved last Basho he can definitely hang with the best because he got wins against Ozeki during that time. So I definitely think we can't count him out. But I don't know. It's tough to. I think people are going to take him a lot more seriously. At least they're going to kind of study him a little bit more. So I think he might not. I think he's going to have a much harder task in front of him, and also just the general skill of around Maegashira 6. It's outside of the joy, but like mid top Bansuke is a lot. It's a lot harder than bottom Bansuke leading up to those final matches that he did against Ozeki and some other top Bansuke people. So I think it's gonna be tough. I think he would have to be I think you have to get a little bit luck to repeat what exactly he did. But I think we cannot count him out. So I think he might be in the Yusho race, but by far not a favorite, is what I'm feeling.
Yeah. And Jake, based on what we know, should we even expect Takerufuji this Basho?
No.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Like, if he's
Such
not doing
riveting discussions.
No, if I'm answering with my brain instead of my heart, yeah, I think he got wheelchaired out.
It's the smart move.
I honestly I have no idea what it took to get him out onto that ring on day 15, but like especially the fact that like, you know, he's been so absent in practice. I guess my maybe of the many possibilities out there, I think the one that I would have to put my money on is he'll enter, he'll look like he got wheelchaired out 2 months ago. He'll look like a guy that went to the hospital straight from the arena. And yeah, might stick around for a few days, but I'd be very, very surprised if he can even finish this Basho if the injury's anywhere near as bad as it looked.
Could you remind me again what injury it was? Was it an ankle injury?
It was an ankle, yeah.
The right ankle.
Okay.
And they had it like splinted and bandaged and wheelchaired him straight to an ambulance after his match. And like,
yeah.
I
That might be protocol. I've seen stuff like that happen in soccer where no matter what, they put them in the boot while they get to the hospital to figure out what's going on, just in case.
Just immobilize it.
It's possible,
Yeah.
but like, I don't think there's any way. And for the other reasons that you mentioned as well, like this is a tougher tier of competition. Like my expectations are definitely low, not long term, but I'd say my expectations are low short term.
For me, it's kind of telling. It's kind of like the Yokozuna, if they're actually doing practice matches or not, like leading up to the Basho. If he's not doing any practice matches, for me, that's pretty telling that he's probably not going to enter. Or if he's going to try and he's not going to do as well as he wants or something along that line.
Yeah.
Well, he
low
risks re-aggravating the injury at this point. I mean, that's he has such a great career ahead of him. Why would you want to risk that?
Yeah, that was something that I've seen from Isegahama Oyakata was saying, like, he's young enough at this point, he can survive the drop down the Bansuke. And if he does sit out the entirety of this Basho, that's a trip down to Juryo for Takerufuji, unfortunately. It'd be the top part of Juryo, but that's still not something you really are wanting to see after this guy comes out, wins the Yusho, and then misses his next Basho. It's basically the exact situation we just had with Haku Oho, who came out, lit the world on fire with his 11-4 record. We haven't seen him since. He hasn't been in the top division for almost a year now. He's sitting at Maegashira, or not Maegashira, Juryo 8 this Basho.
Wait a minute.
So Haku Oho needs like 12 wins minimum to make his way up to the Makuuchi division next Basho. So we could very easily be looking at 2 more Basho for Haku Oho. Who knows what it would take for, I mean, Takerufuji, you would assume if he makes it to the top of Juryo, hopefully just 1 Basho down there, get back. Then he's at the bottom of Maegashira again, baby. Who's to stop him?
It's his favorite spot.
This could actually work well in his favor to get a second Yusho here. Not in July, but in August or in September when he comes back.
There we go. Did you see anything that did he have any surgery or anything kind of like that after the Basho?
Didn't see anything about surgery. I think it's just kind of rest and rehab.
It must be like just a really bad sprain then or something, and it's just one of those things just takes some time. So,
Yeah.
I don't think I ever saw an official diagnosis. Maybe I just missed something, but like I don't think it was super obvious what the specific issue was.
There would be Kyujo reports for the Jungyo tour, but that would take some digging on my part to find out if that was reported and what exactly that would have been for. But
you said he sat out Jungyo though, right?
Yeah, he sat out the entirety of the Jungyo.
But just like a Basho, they need a note. So like there should be somewhere why. There's a record of a doctor's note or something. But yeah, I mean I know we're all bummed out for the the same reason that Hakuoho was a bummer when his injury happened. Both guys pretty young, both guys super promising, but like if they never reach the level of success that they had before their injury, that would be absolutely heartbreaking.
Yeah, absolutely. Better to sit out now, get recovered, than to suffer an even worse injury in the next Basho because you were pushing it too hard.
Yeah, right.
So, as we said, he's already.
I would say that Issei Kahama usually goes down that line of watching out for your health. So I would say that's one plus in our favor that he's probably gonna make the smart move.
Yeah, we can hope.
Yeah, and as B said, he's already locked into history. He doesn't have anything to prove at this point. Get healthy, come back in July, come back down at Juryo in July. But yeah. All right, let's move on to before we move on, I did find the Kyujo news for the Jungyo tour for Takerufuji. It was a sprained right ankle and ligament damage.
Actual ligament damage.
Yeah, which is concerning and probably why he's barely moving at this point.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Yep. So the other young hotness that is still in the top division and hasn't stalled out at the Joy, sorry, Itami Fuji, Onosato is making his Sanyaku debut this Basho. He is entering just his 7th career Basho, and this is the fastest Sanyaku debut other than Ichinojo, who made it in his 6th career Basho. As we all know, Ichinojo went 13-2 in his top division debut and was launched all the way from Maegashira 10 to Sekiwake in that Basho. But this was not a quiet off season for Onosato, as we got a bit of a mini scandal coming out of the Nishonoseki Beya. So Onosato and Nishonoseki Oyakata were both strongly reprimanded by the JSA due to Onosato drinking with an underage Makuuchi rikishi. So the drinking age in Japan is 20. So he was drinking with somebody below the age of 20 in his heya. So Nishonoseki reported this rule breaking to the JSA, and there is no punishment beyond like the public scorn for these guys, the strong reprimand. So no fines, no suspensions or anything like that for either rikishi or coach. There is some tabloid rumors of this being a little bit more sinister than just happened to be drinking with an underage rikishi, possible bullying, but none of the major publications have picked this up, and there's no solid reason at this point to believe that this incident was anything more than what it was presented as by the JSA. But there are, unfortunately, rumors swirling that it could have been part of a larger bullying thing. But like I said, just tabloid rumors, so not a whole lot to go off of at this point.
If Men in Black has taught us anything, the tabloids always have the truth. How do they help you find aliens?
That, unfortunately, the same tabloid that's reporting this is the first one that had the Hokuseiho story.
But dang it.
It doesn't always mean they're right.
No.
And like I said, it doesn't sound like anything more is going to be coming of this.
Yeah. I hope not.
Yeah, it would be such a bummer if like you have Hakuoho come up injured, Takerufuji come up injured, Onosato come up dick bad, Just it would be so bad for like all of these guys with such potential just have something knocking them down.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but then
All right,
that
we got-
combines into Hakuho's minor downfall for the moment.
Oh,
And if
God.
this blows up, it could be Kisanosato getting in more trouble. Like, oh my God. Stop, please.
Stop being dumbasses.
All right, we got the doctor's note for this Basho. You have a case of being a dick bag. That's gonna be 2 weeks rest.
2 weeks rest.
2 weeks,
weeks
rest.
rest. Yeah. But yeah, so as of now, Onosato's in the tournament. That's not changing. Like I said, likely what we've been told is probably what happened. So how's he been doing in his training leading up to his first Sanyaku Basho? He went 3-3 in training matches against the current Ozeki at the YDC Soken. That is the full JSA training session that happens in front of the Yokozuna Deliberation Council. So he had a good showing there. And just yesterday, I believe it was, he had 8 matches with Koto Zakura, where he went 6-2 in a training session against Koto Zakura. So
Koto Zakura. Who's that?
That Fleric is the former Koto no Waka as Koto I forgot that there's some people that don't listen to our Bonsuke episodes, and both of them are joining Jake and I right now recording this podcast.
Hey, I have no choice but to suffer through those every time I do the video.
That's fair.
You don't have
yeah,
to watch the whole thing,
I don't,
Yeah,
but you do anyways.
but I do anyway.
that's how
We're just-
committed he is.
I'm just that intriguing.
Wait
Jake.
a
He
second.
can't
I
help
edited
himself.
that one. You didn't even do that one. Shut up.
It's
Yeah,
one.
hold on here, young man.
I'm older than you. Shut up.
He's found like whenever he's have his mind's racing, you just like, you know what? I just really need to get to bed. What's gonna really put me to sleep? Oh yeah, a Bonsuke episode.
Shut up.
Right, you are, Fleric.
People like
Nope.
those, damn it.
I assume they do. And judging
And
by
they're
the
named my
thumbnail,
mom and my wife.
I will
judging
say
by the
there have
thumbnail,
been-
you went a little bit crazy this time around with something to do with Bonsuke's.
We always go crazy with the Buns case.
I will say
with the
there
Bane
have been some Bonsuke episodes where it's like we don't get to start until like 9 because both of us have children that don't always go to bed when we want. And sometimes I am very tired, and sometimes you get onto your 3rd page of explaining like why you have this guy at Magashira 7. And sometimes I do get a little bit distracted, but very rarely.
What were we talking about? Onosato.
Onosato.
Yeah.
So, and also, I think the most disappointing thing that has come out of Onosato in the most recent weeks is he now has a mage. It is a very small one, but he will no longer be sporting the loose hair.
I love the wild hair.
I
look.
know, but he's got just enough to sport a small little baby mage. So he's got that now. But Mac, what are our expectations for Onosato?
I respect
this
powering
Basho?
through that.
Thank you. What are our expectations for Onosato this Basho? I'm going to place the over-under at 9.5 wins. What would you take for him, Mac?
From that, I would put it at over. He was able to handily doing another 11-4 from M. I can't not see this guy getting over 10 wins at least. I don't think it's going to be 12 per se, but I'm betting at least 10.
I probably expecting too much for him, but I'm kind of like on the same train. Like we haven't seen him against a full Sanyaku schedule, but he's dipped his toes in each of his first 2 Bashos. Did he take out any? He took out one Ozeki. Yeah, because he beat Takakeisho last Basho.
In the last Basho, yes. His first
yeah.
Basho, he did not, I don't
No,
think.
He was very easily handled by them in his
Yes.
first Basho.
The injured Takakeisho. Yeah.
Against an injured
Yeah, and
Takakeisho.
injuries.
But yeah, like looking at the Rikishi that are in front of Onosato that could scare him, Terunofuji, we'll see. Probably not showing up at this point. And then you got Hoshoryu.
Terunofuji.
Yeah, Hoshoryu,
yeah,
Kota
yeah.
Sakura, Kirishima, all credible threats. Takakeisho,
Kirishima, I'd say maybe we need to see how he does this tournament.
very true. Come after last Basho, you wouldn't say he was a credible threat, but we all know that's not the real Kirishima. It can't be. And then
It could be, Ryan.
Oh
Could be
God,
done.
no!
I hope not. God, I hope not. That would suck so much.
Yeah.
And then you've got those three Ozeki. I'm not worried about Takakeisho this Basho because I'm not sure Takakeisho's showing up for this Basho either because he's not Kadoban. And then you got Abi and Wakamoto Haru ahead of him. So there's not a whole lot of people ahead of him at this point that you're honestly too concerned about. So yeah, I think 10 wins should be pretty manageable for Onosato in his Sanyaku debut.
Unless he drops one. Unless he just flubs and...
We got to expect that'll happen. I mean, nobody doesn't drop one to lower ranked people unless you're like Hakuho back in 2000.
I was about to reference Hakuho. I'm like, well, there was this one guy.
Like Koedo. Go ahead, Jake.
I'm a little bit more pessimistic.
Oh, what a shock. Jake thinks that the guy making his Joy debut isn't going to do good. And he's always been proven right, usually.
Where's that positivity, man?
I'm great at these picks that don't result in me not needing to do a punishment. Those picks
He's
I'm
not
generally
wrong.
pretty solid at.
Yeah.
No, so I'm a little bit more pessimistic. I guess what I will say is I think you picked the perfect over-under to make me upset.
Oh,
I
well
think,
done.
Yeah, 9 or 10
You
is
run a good casino, Ryan.
Yes.
A great
Thank you.
casino.
Yes, good. Well casinoed. Good odds makery.
What are those odds, by the way?
What's that?
What are the odds?
I would say that I'd give it like a 2-1 that he gets under 9.5. That's kind of where I'm thinking. He didn't have any real bad losses last time, except for one. So that he lost to Kochinowaka and Hoshoryu, both completely understandable. Lost to Takerufuji, absolutely understandable. But the Onosho one kind of sticks out. Like that's definitely like the most unfortunate one for him. And one of his wins was a Fusen. So he kind of went 10-4 with one of those wins, 10-4 with one of those losses being kind of a bad one. So yeah, I'm thinking that with a harder schedule, not that much harder.
I was going to say, is it that much harder than his last tournament?
There's a couple guys missing. I think he only faced one Komusubi. Terunofuji
the one he
was not
skipped
a thing.
was Nishikigi, who went 3-12 last Basho. So
Yeah,
that's
who
fine.
could have gone 4-11. Just saying. I don't know. I totally agree that there's reasons to be optimistic, but I'm just not quite there yet. I definitely need to be convinced a little bit more. Not long term, similar to Takerufuji. I don't have any long term concerns for Onosato, but like he would, it would take a lot for me to be convinced that he is already ready for this level of competition full time.
what about you? Where's your head at, Fleric, with Onosato this Basho?
I don't know. Maybe it's the extreme pessimism of Jake. There's
Am I
something
bringing
about
you down?
Onosato. Yeah. Oh no, it's my instinct is just to go exactly against it and be a little positive about Onosato now. He's I don't know. Like I remember like his first Basho, like he went up to the Joy. I feel like he got skill checked. Like he just got thrown by people. Like he
did.
just like knew better than him. But this time, first time around, like everyone kind of like mid top Banzuke, like he was kicking butt, and the people in the way top to Joy, like those are the ones he was losing matches to. But he still won a couple. I think there is a good chance he repeats the same like double digit. I'll go over on the 9.5. I think there's a good chance he does it, and maybe if he gets a little bit luck, he might get a Junyusho or something.
Ooh.
Hey, real quick, his first top division, he got skill checked by Kochinowaka, Hoshoryu, and Terunofuji. And he had one bad loss to Onosho.
Yeah.
So
Really?
I think
okay.
if he can dodge Onosho, he's got a shot at this.
I have a proposal. So a champ
I'm not doing
chump-
anything that makes me more likely to do a punishment. Not a damn thing.
Dang it. All right. Fair.
We've acknowledged your casinoing, Ryan, but you
Yeah.
have to sell it better than
All right,
that.
but here's the thing,
If-
Jake. So I was
It's only
saying,
makes more likely if you lose, Jake.
yeah, here's what I'm proposing: high risk, high reward. The three of us, myself, Fleric, and Mac, each put 1 point on the line, and if he gets over 10 wins, we each get 1 point. But those points are coming from your 3 points that you have to give up. But if he gets under 10 wins, then you get 3 bonus points, and we give up 1 point apiece.
Ah, I see. So you want me to
Aha.
wager more than anyone else?
Yes.
No, I don't want to do
high
that.
risk, high reward.
No. How is that?
You run a great
how-
casino, Ryan, because I'm in.
If you hit
I'm
it,
in.
those
The
3
house-
points
the house
could be
wins.
the difference between losing and second to last.
I've lost by far more than 3 points consistently.
So it doesn't matter. Is what I'm
No,
hearing.
that's what I'm hearing.
Sounds like it's just more fun for the rest of us.
All right. I'm not going to do it, but like,
That's what, no.
Good old wet blanket Jake.
yeah, okay.
But no, I'm hopeful. Like, I think he's on the rise, and I think it sounds like you haven't got to all the. You've just alluded to everyone who's probably not showing up, but it sounds like we might have a weaker top the Bonsky this time. This could be the
It's-
time for Onosato
it's-
to come through and just kick some butt.
Feeling like it. So let's move on to somebody that we're very concerned about not showing up to this Basho, and that's the Yokozuna. So everything was looking really good for Terunofuji. He seemed on track to be competing in the upcoming Basho. He had been participating in training matches late in the Jungyo tour, which rarely seen from Terunofuji in recent years, where he's training and participating in exhibition matches on the Jungyo tour. And when he was asked about his injuries, he said, much better, still have pains, especially when I overdo it in training. But he had every intention of participating in the Basho. And then the YDC Soken occurred, and Terunofuji was forced to sit out of the training. He said that he planned on doing some sumo, but my condition has become worse. I can't go into details, but I wanted to be on the safe side. I don't think it's serious, but I can only do what I can do on any given day. As of the 5th, which was the last training report that I've seen from Isegahama Beya, he was still in pain due to the Soken. He was not participating in training matches, but he still wants to restart practice bouts after he recovers from this phantom injury. It sounds like it might have been like a rib thing that just occurred when he was warming up for the YDC Soken. So, Fleric, we're going to go through the same thing that we did with Takerufuji. Assuming Terunofuji enters the Basho, how do we think he'll do? Will he go 13-2 and win the Yusho like he did in January, or will he fizzle out in the first 5 days and have to pull out like he did in March?
Assuming that he enters, there's a lot of assumptions that go with this. That means he's feeling healthy enough to enter, like whatever's going on. Sounds like he spent like a good building up to this Basho doing a lot of practice bouts. So hopefully this is just a minor kind of injury, but it sounds like he's probably relatively in practice. So yeah, I'd say 13-2 Yusho, give or take. Definitely the favorite of them all, because Terunofuji, I don't know if you know this guy's is when he's healthy, he's really good at sumo.
Is he?
It has been
Yeah.
reported on multiple occasions.
But I would like to just kind of double up. It sounds like he did the whole build up towards it, and hopefully it's just kind of a minor kind of little injury and pain with that. So I think he is probably more prepared than maybe some other times where he was.
You think it's a
more
mind
heavy.
game? You think he's playing a meta where it's like, oh no, I'm taking it one day at a time. Oh, I'm hurt. The king's hurt again. Let's hit him.
He doesn't strike me as someone to play with the media like that. So I doubt it. I bet it actually is some kind of injury, and he's really trying just to get healthy for it. So
Makes sense.
Jake, based on what we know, should we be expecting Terunofuji this Basho?
Honestly, I'm not really sure why we wouldn't. Because, like, if you look at the last couple of years, is it weird for him to sit out of a training or something? Not really. Is it weird for him to do extra effort and participate on the Jungyo? Yeah. So, if anything, like, if anything, I'm almost encouraged here. But like, no, Terunofuji injury rumors, and then he comes and wins a Yusho has happened half a dozen times already.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know. I don't see any reason to be more or less excited just because he sat out of one training thing. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'm unfamiliar. Maybe this is something that we don't understand as well on our end, but like sitting out of like a YDC practice, maybe that's like a bigger deal than I'm making it out to be. Maybe that's just a misunderstanding on my part. But like, yeah, him sitting out of a training day or something like that really doesn't strike me as crazy. So like,
Well, it's not just the YDC Soken. It's been like the training in his Heya since then. He hasn't been participating.
Honestly, that too. Like Terunofuji sits out of training. Least surprising story ever, right? Like that's is that going to pull the likes of like John Gunning to write about that? Probably not. He has more important things to do. Sorry, I couldn't say that with a straight face. No, I'm not super concerned more than others, but I do have the first pick in our prediction series draft. So if you were to ask, are you going to pick Terunofuji? Probably not, but I probably wouldn't anyways.
I'll be asking in about 45 minutes. Would be my guess. Yeah.
And I will be asking whoever picks after me, do you want to gamble on Terunofuji?
I think that's me.
Yeah,
do you, Mac?
I don't know.
Sounds like you got about 45 minutes to think about.
I'll contemplate. Let me run some numbers.
Yeah, I don't know. I am concerned because like leading up to the last Basho, he was competing in training matches going into the last Basho, and we saw how he did in that Basho, which was bad. He had stated that he wasn't in the shape that he wanted to be in. He wasn't in as he didn't do as much training as he needed to be going into the Basho, and here he is a week out of the Basho, not participating in training, not able to get himself in shape. So I don't know if it's something where if he does recover and like he has a couple of days of practice beforehand and he's just like, just let me get through the first week, let me work myself back into shape in the first week, and if I can get to week 2 in a good place, then I can bulldoze everybody. Or if it's just like, give me the 2 months and I'll show up in July and destroy these guys.
Yeah.
Oh.
Hearing that, and maybe I just kind of didn't catch all the stuff when you originally said the stuff, does give me a little bit more pause. But I assume he did participate for the Jungyo, I believe.
He did.
So.
He did join in at the end.
Yes.
Yep.
At the end, and then like he did do matches at the YDC Soken. But
No,
then
he had to
out.
sit out completely because he injured himself in like warm-ups or something like that.
In warm-ups. Okay, so he was feeling good that day. So I don't know. I guess I have a little bit more pause hearing that stuff a little bit more. I was kind of assuming it was a little bit more involved of a warm-up, but it's still like he's been doing sumo for how long, and he's kind of been relatively in shape the entire time. So I don't know. I still think he can probably pull it off.
With a very notable exception of about a year midway through his career, he's been in shape.
Yeah, exactly.
But one of those buildups, he went 13 too, as so
Yep.
He was in shape at least one point this year. But I this is giving me more pause. I'm kind of going back to the telltale signs of what is he actually doing sumo matches, and currently he's not. So that makes me a little bit more wary. But
Yeah.
I still have some belief in the guy. I think he might be able to. He might give it a shot.
Wow, you guys are all so negative. You wet blankets.
Jake, quiet.
He's building himself up
but
courage to pick Terunofuji in the prediction series.
The meta game.
Yeah. When Jake wants to believe in somebody, oh no, it's not okay.
Tell us again how many
Unbelievable.
Yusho Takayasu's won.
That's just mean. Like that's not an argument.
That was
That's
mean,
just
Mac. What the hell?
Yeah. That doesn't counter my point. You're just being mean.
Then again,
Who's
I've
the
said,
dick bag now?
yeah,
It can be both of you.
Yeah.
yeah, I've definitely said the same before too.
Yeah, I know.
Exactly.
If I had to power rank
All right, guys, I'm going
chances,
To bed.
all
I'm
right,
just sad.
that's fair.
All right, yeah. How do you feel about all this, Ryan?
Yeah,
You're just kind of asking us. Granted, we are the most knowledgeable of the people, but
No, Ryan
How do you
knows
feel
what
about
makes
Terunofuji?
has a point.
Ryan knows what
Yeah.
makes the best show, and that's the other three.
Yeah, exactly. No, if I were to power rank the Rikishi that we've discussed so far that we think have the possibility of going Kyujo, I would say Takerufuji, I think, is more likely than Terunofuji at this point. We'll go through a few more guys, and then we'll add some more to the ranks of who we think is going to
Hooray.
Okay.
stop
What a
start the
fun
Basho
little
on the
minigame.
sideline. Yeah. But before we do that, let's drop down to the Ozeki, and let's start with Hoshoryu and the newly minted Koto Sakura. I think you distracted me a little bit when we were talking about Koto Sakura. We got started talking about the Bonsuke episodes and never circled back around to it. Koto no Waka spent one Basho as an Ozeki using his father's Shikona of Koto no Waka before assuming his new name as Koto Sakura, the Shikona of his grandfather who had made it up to the rank of Yokozuna. His grandfather promised him, or I think the story is he asked his grandfather when he could use his Shikona back when he was like a little kid, because Koto Sakura was always going to be a sumo wrestler. There was nothing else he was ever going to do in his life. And his grandfather told him, like, you got to be Ozeki, then you can have my name. So he
Harsh grandpa.
he made it to Ozeki. He used the name, the Shikona Koto no Waka to honor his father's Shikona, have that Shikona associated with the rank of Ozeki, but now he has switched to Koto Sakura. So, talking about Hoshoryu and Koto Sakura, unsurprisingly, the two Ozeki that did the best in the last Basho and did not have any injury concerns are coming into this Basho healthy and are looking good in training. So, Mac, will either, neither, or both of these Rikishi be involved in the Yusho race this Basho?
These two are the top dogs in the Ozeki rank right now. I don't think there's any way we can't consider them out for the Yusha race in this case. Look at the skill that both of these guys bring to the ring, especially with Koto Sakura. I can see, damn it, Ryan, if you didn't actually convert me on this guy, because literally I didn't have any expectations for him.
Wasn't me. It's this guy getting back to back double-digit winning Bashos all on his own. I just saw it first.
That's why I'm
Amongst us four, I'm sure there are plenty of other people who.
Well, that too,
No.
probably.
Don't say
Anyway,
that.
right, these two are the top dogs in the Ozeki rank right now. If you look at Takakesho and you look at Kirishima, Takakesho, meh, not too high on him. Kirishima needs to figure his crap out. So that gives us Hoshoryu and Koto Sakura. You can't not consider these guys in the Yusha race. They bring so much intensity, two different styles of sumo. Hoshoryu with his bag of tricks and Koto Sakura with his size and his power. They're great It's going to be great.
If you were to choose the favorite between those two, Mac, who would you choose at this point in time, just for this Basho?
Just for this Basho, I would give it to Koto Sakura. I think now that he has his grandfather's Shikona, I think he's going to want to prove that, okay, I've won as Koto no Waka. Now I need to win as Koto Sakura and maybe shoot for the Yokozuna rope. I mean, it's possible.
I mean, the door is plenty open at this point in time, especially.
But then what would his ring name be then?
I'm pretty sure still Koto Sakura.
Well, no, I'm just saying, would he use that or would he combine both names?
Koto Sakura ist.
I thought we were just gonna throw a Yama at the end.
I was thinking either a Yama or just do a Sakura Waka or something like that. Waka Sakura. Koto Waka Sakura. There we go.
Koto Waka Sakura.
I think the
Keep
easiest
going,
combination of those two names is Koto no Sakura.
Ooh, hey. Anyway,
I'm not against it.
I'm not sold.
Jake has just been sitting there with a confused look on his face, very unimpressed.
I'm honestly kind of impressed how long you guys stretched that bit.
Bit. We're gonna write a letter and send him these suggestions.
absolutely.
Hey, guy, we had an idea for you.
Listen
Now,
to
I
these
know
guys
your
in the
grandpa-
Midwest.
Now I know that your grandpa was a long time Ozeki, right?
Yokozuna.
Yokozuna, long time Yokozuna. But think about this; it would be really funny if you just combine them together.
Combine them.
Look, man, we were looking for more ways to stretch out the length of our podcast. And we stumbled across something.
Koto
then we
Waka
got
Sakura
called-
Yama.
And then we got called out that it was just a bit. So now we got to make it not a bit and a serious endeavor.
Oh no.
All right. Are we ready to move on from this bit?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, all right.
Let's talk about Takakeisho, and the news out of the Takakeisho camp is the same news we always get from the Takakeisho camp. Not a whole lot of practice matches. Neck still hurts. Gonna suck it up anyways. A couple of quotes. I love Takakeisho quotes. Couple of quotes from Takakeisho. I can only do my best to heal my ailments. If I go all out or not, the Basho will be coming. So all I can do is use my fighting spirit in my preparations, I guess. I guess was in the quotes.
That really makes it.
It's the I guess.
And then another quote from Takakeisho. In April, I had a variety of treatments and trained my body. I have to do what can be done. I don't care about the condition of the neck. I'll be at the Basho no matter if it's satisfactory or not. So Fleric, Takakeisho Yusho?
I'm catching a lot of like negativity about his condition from the guy himself. So hell yeah, let's go, man. I can only be positive from that kind of thing. It's funny. He sounds like a guy who's kind of accepted his condition, his health, where he's at, and he's just like, it's traditional sumo. I'm gonna take it one day at a time. And that one day at a time is still to get a Kachikoshi every once in a while at an Ozeki Zeki rank. So I don't know. I think he's a complete wild card. There's no way we can predict him at all.
Yeah,
because I still think he has it in him.
Fighting spirit, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. Sold.
Yeah, and it's not just the neck for Takakeisho. He had to pull out of the previous Basho on day 14 due to a biceps injury that he got in the match where he got his 8th win as he was struggling with his neck to get through that Basho. So yeah, it's just always thing after thing after thing with Takakeisho. So it would be the most Takakeisho thing to shock the world and just win the Yusho this time.
Yes.
Yeah. He's still talented. He's gonna need luck, I think, to get a Yusho. But I guess if the stars align, I think he can. I think he has it in him.
From the news from the YDC Soken, he looked like ass. He went 1-5 against his Ozeki competition. I think he picked up 1 win against Kirishima. And then there just usually isn't a whole lot of training news out of the Tokiwayama Beya. So don't know what Takakeisho's been doing since then for training. But as of about a week ago, didn't seem all that great. But yeah,
I guess.
And then we move to Kirishima, and it seems like there's better news out of the Kirishima camp than the always negative Takakeisho camp. So he started the Jungyo Tour Kyujo for a multitude of reasons, like elbows, shoulder, neck. But he did join about a third of the way into April. He did have a scare with his neck/shoulder on the 3rd of May, where he had to quit training for the day after a match. But since that day, his training has gone very well, and it seems like his neck and shoulder pain has seemingly subsided. Quote from Kirishima: "It's been a while since my neck was in good shape, so I decided to go head on today. If the pain really is gone, I'll be going all out from now on." He also has said that he's not charging at 100% capacity at his tachi-eyes, but he's no longer confined to just receiving at the tachi-eye, which is kind of the state he was in last Basho with his injuries. So, Mac, it sounds like really the past 2 days, Kirishima's neck pain has kind of dissipated. And there's like, it sounds like it might not necessarily have been neck. It's just like the shoulder area.
Thinking like the clavicle at this point, maybe.
Something like that. But that pain has really subsided from Kirishima. He's been dynamite in practice the past couple of days. So what is the percentage chance that Kirishima clears Kataban to keep his Ozeki rank this Basho? Because something we haven't really brought up, he was 5-10 last Basho. He needs to get a winning record in order to maintain his Ozeki rank for this tournament.
I think he's going to do it. I think that what we saw the last tournament was a amalgamation of so many different issues that he was facing. I mean, his Heia was closing. Maybe his neck was bothering him, and re-aggravations during the Jungyo. All that aside, I think what we have recently seen with all the releases with this is that he's on the mend. He's figuring himself out. He's feeling better. At least he's not going to be receiving as much on the Tachi, which is exactly what led to his downfall in the last tournament. So I am giving it 90-10, I would say at this point, that he actually makes it. Because it's 8 wins. You can do that. You can do 8 wins if you don't perform like you did in the last tournament, because that really was ass.
Yeah. My one concern with Kirishima is he looked pretty good in training before the last Basho too, and we saw how that turned out. But yeah, I'm pretty. That's kind of the number I was thinking too, Mac. I'm like 90%. This guy's got to get his 8 wins. Like, I just, with the year that he had last year, it would be such a shock and a shame for him to suddenly fall so steeply after winning 2 Yusho last year. I just don't see that happening at this point. I don't see him becoming Mitake Yumi, who just all of a sudden
exactly who I was thinking of
can't wrestle anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, he definitely for a little while felt kind of like the head of the new class, you know, like the elder statesman kind of being followed by Hoshoryu or Kotozakura. But yeah, those injuries, if he can get past them, I have no doubts he would return to that role. But yeah, it's hard to see something that affected him that badly being completely cleared up this quickly. But I might be like a little bit less optimistic than you guys, but not by much. Yeah, I would say like 80-20 or something, but
there you go.
How do you sleep at night with those blankets so wet and damp, Jake?
Yes, how?
I don't know what you bring me for here if it's not to bring everyone else down.
I'm sorry.
I thought that was my whole job. You know, I thought that
is. It's my job to be the arrogant jerk, and then you guys still call me out for being an arrogant jerk. So I feel like it works.
Yeah, and I'm the sad sack Takayasu fan. Like we're playing our roles, aren't we?
It works. We're doing
and we're allowed to call each other out.
All right. So you were promising
power ranking.
Your power ranking before. So to recap what's going on, of the top people, who is looking like iffy on pulling out and who's looking pretty good? It sounds like Kirishima, Hoshoryu, Kotozakura,
all systems go.
Kotozakura, all systems go. And who are the maybes again?
Takerufuji still top my list. Then I'd say Terunofuji, and then we're adding Takakeisho. But I'm gonna put Takakeisho at the bottom of my people I expect to start Kyujo this.
So 3
show.
potential.
So bottom as in like most likely or least likely?
Yeah,
least likely of these 3 to not start. Yeah.
Oh, least likely to not.
Wait,
so he's probably going to start.
Wait. He's the most least likely, Flair. Come on.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not that hard, you guys.
Okay. So we're feeling pretty good about Takakeisho. He's
on the list, so I wouldn't say I'm feeling good.
I was about to say,
I'm feeling the best of the people I feel bad about.
Yeah,
he's the least most un-Kyujoist of all of these guys that aren't. So like that's.
I don't know what more we can say, Flair.
I don't know why
it is clear. I'm following. If I can follow it, that's good.
I feel like anything more would just make me more confused. So
don't worry, we'll get to
So
we'll add at least one more to the list.
So of the big 2 notables, Terunofuji and Takerufuji are likely the ones probably going to be out, but hopefully not the case. So my question is, of all the rest, who do we think is the favorite? Because normally it goes to the Yokozuna for good reasons. But with all the kind of different health areas, with all the Ozeki and such, who's number 1? Who is the one to lose it?
Who's top dog? Okay.
Hey, who's top dog? I'm curious about where people are at with this. Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, Mac had taken Kotozakura ahead of Hoshoryu in his
Which
mind.
I will. I'll still stick with that.
I'm right there too.
I've been riding the Kotozakura train pretty hard for the past 6 to 8 months, and I see no reason to hop off this train. He went 10-5 last Basho, which is still good for an Ozeki. A little disappointing for him, but he had you always expect a little bit of a dip for an Ozeki in their Ozeki debut because of all of the press and stuff and the distractions that they have.
All the parties, interviews. Yeah.
So Kotozakura, without those added Shin Ozeki responsibilities coming into his second Basho as an Ozeki, I've got high hopes for Kotozakura here, and I've seen Kotozakura get 13 wins. I haven't seen Hoshoryu ever get 13 wins, and I see him lose to Tobizaru, and like I don't know that he's ever lost to like Hiradoumi, but like Go no Yama and Midori Fuji enough to just feel like that's gonna keep happening, and he'll be stuck at like 11 or 12, where I feel like Kotozakura can get 13, 14.
I have some counterpoints.
Okay.
One, do you think they have parties for Shikona changes?
Oh,
I don't think so. Maybe this was an ill-planned thing for Kotozakura. Maybe he should have planned the Shikona change and the Ozeki debut at the same time, get those both out of the way in the same offseason.
There you go, yeah.
But also, I don't think so.
I bet there's
but
a
also
huge
probably
party.
not.
but also probably not.
There's gotta be a huge party. Anyways, moving on to my other point. Hoshoryu has a Yusho. Well, Kotozakura, at least last I checked, he didn't. Unless I have a bad memory.
He does not.
No, he doesn't.
No,
he has a playoff loss against Terunofuji in January. But Kotozakura has more wins in a single Basho than Hoshoryu ever has. It just happened that the rest of the field was worse in that Basho that Hoshoryu won compared to when Kotozakura got his 13 wins. And unfortunately, there was a healthy Terunofuji in that Basho where there wasn't a Terunofuji in the Hoshoryu Yusho. I don't want to downplay the Hoshoryu Yusho too much, but I'm just saying it doesn't necessarily mean
it doesn't put him head and
Hoshor-
shoulders over.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. You make some great points. He does not have a Yusho yet. Thank you, Ryan.
You've fallen into my trap.
You fall into my trap. I think I do
There you
kind of
go.
line up with you, Kotozakura. He's looked a little bit more dominant than other people. But there's like a little cheekiness about Hoshoryu's like sumo of where it's, I don't know, he still feels like he's kind of getting away with something, you know, like when he does win. So even though he got a better record than the Kotozakura last Basho,
11-4. Yeah.
You know, logic would say he's going to do better this time. He's in better shape. He does better sumo. He's higher on the Banzuke. But I don't know. I agree with you. I think Kotozakura, he looks pretty good. Like when he does some, it's more dominant sumo, I guess I would see from the guy.
I don't feel good that we're all choosing Kotozakura as the favorite. I feel like that all
We have
but
jinxed him.
ensures he goes 6-9 for some reason this tournament. But
if it helps, all of us agreeing that he is probably the guy to beat here definitely helps me make him my first pick in the draft. So
There you go.
no, but I've had him for like the last 3, and that's worked
I know
really
it's
well.
gonna be awesome.
Oh no.
No. All right, let's move on.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
We've got a couple of Rikishi that are making their top division debuts. The first one we're going to discuss is Oshoma, debuting at Maegashira 14 West. He is in the Naruto stable alongside fellow Sekitori Oshoumi, who is down in Juryo. He's 27 years old. He debuted at Makuuchi 15 in 2021, so he had a very good career at university that allowed him to debut in Makuuchi. He won a Makuuchi Yusho in his 4th career Basho, and then a Juryo Yusho in his 7th Basho. But then after that Yusho in Juryo, he stalled out very literally for the next year, where his rank never exceeded Juryo 3 and was never lower than Juryo 5 for an entire year, including 4 straight Basho at the Juryo 4 rank, and within that 4 in a row, 3 in a row were at Juryo 4 East. But he finally broke out of the 8-7, 7-8 habit to go 11-4 last Basho to make his Makuuchi debut this Basho. His fighting style, he's got more of a pulling fighting style. His top Kimarite is Hitaki Komi by a good margin.
By about triple the normal rate.
Oh wow.
He uses Hitaki Komi more than roughly the same as Oshidashi and Yorikiri
Oh
combined.
jeez.
So think of Toha Kuryu, who debuted last year and was very quickly sent back down to Juryo, kind of guy who his first priority isn't to push you out, isn't to get your belt, it's to catch you off balance and slap you down. So that's how Oshoma fights. And then we have Toki Hayate, who is debuting at Maegashira 15 East. He is in the Tokitsukaze stable alongside Shodai. He is also 27 years old. He started sumo post-university, but he had to start from the very bottom of the sumo ranks. He won the Jonidan Yusho in his second basho, and then he had consecutive winning records to start his career until he hit Makushita 7 in his eighth basho. And then after that, he hit the Makushita wall. It would take him almost 3 years to break through to Juryo in May of 2023, where he would spend just one basho before being demoted back down to Makushita. But after that demotion in the next tournament, he won the Makushita Yusho. He became the champion that the GSB belt needed to finally make its way up into Juryo and stay there. And then he got 4 consecutive winning records in Juryo to make his way into the top division, including his 8 and 7 from the top Juryo rank last basho.
This is the guy. This
is
is the guy who.
Yeah, that's him.
He finally
legend.
broke the Makushita curse. This is the guy.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he's a big deal on this podcast.
We
need to
forever
give him the
grateful.
respect he deserves.
Like the Shodai Heya is a little bit of a kind of like makes me a little wary of the guy, but if he's the
That's a
guy,
red flag. That's a
It's a
red
red
flag. Yeah.
100%. But if he's the guy who actually got the GSB belt out of that deadlock that was Makushita,
Honestly,
Drops
it'll
the
be
Quagmire.
it'll be
Huge
a
legend.
huge shame if Jake were to not pick him for his first champ pick, just to honor the man who finally got us out of the Makushita quagmire.
You know what's
Indeed.
funny is he, during the Makushita quagmire, he held the belt on 2 separate occasions as well.
Oh no.
It was
some
the
time.
third time in that Makushita quagmire that it landed on Toki Hayate. That's when it moved up.
well, you gotta
It's
give
the
him a
charm.
break. He has Shodai to learn from, so it takes a little extra.
Well, see, here's the
I don't
thing
know, I
about
think he
Toki
learned
Hayate.
Shodai's mediocrity perfectly well.
No, he knows when to continue a joke and then when it's been overplayed.
That's
So
a good
he-
point.
Yeah, so he had the belt a couple times in Makushita and thought, it'd be funny.
Rules
we
of
send
3.
it. Yep, keep it
Mhm.
right back down to Makushita. But then when he finally got it that last time, he's like, okay, this has gone on long enough. It's not funny anymore. They're not having fun. Let's just get this up to
That's
Juryo.
comedy 101. You do a thing, you do it again to establish the pattern, and then you break the pattern.
Then you break the pattern.
Comedy.
Exactly. Toki Hayate, GSB favorite Rikishi, bar none.
I
Nobody
thought
better pick
Aqua
him for
was
your
a-
chump.
Okay,
I'm not
never mind.
picking him. I'm not picking him for my champ, Ryan.
All right. You're going to let him fall to Mac, and big
Yeah.
mistake.
No.
All right.
Style-wise, he's primarily a Yorikiri guy. He uses it for about a third of his wins when normal is about a quarter. So like nothing crazy there. What is kind of weird is that he uses a lot more, specifically Uwate Nage. He uses a lot of throws more than the average rate, but specifically Uwate Nage, he uses a good deal, even more than he uses Oshidashi. So yeah, you could, he's definitely more of a grappler and not much of a pusher guy. His most common losing technique is Oshidashi. So yeah, he's definitely somebody that people are going to want to keep off of their belt.
It makes sense because he's on the slimmer side for Rikishi, obviously. But yeah, he's got more of like a Wakataka Kage, Wakamoto Haru slimmer body style than like a Tsurugisho or Mitoryu. A couple of other quick hits. Wakamoto Haru and Abi are at Sekiwake. Jake, try to convince me that Abi won't go 6-9 and Wakamoto Haru won't go 9-6.
Well, just go back to Comedy 101. They're going to do the opposite because this is what you want.
But
No,
doesn't that just like feel like that's the exact thing that's going to happen with those two?
I don't know where you're coming from. I have no idea why you were so certain here.
I'm picking up on those vibes. I like Wakamoto Haru. He feels like he's like the last of the Sekiwake mainstays after Daisho sadly has dropped down. And Abi, yeah, I don't trust that guy at all. There's no way.
It's Abi's first time as Sekiwake in like 2 years. So yeah, I could see him falling back down. And Wakamoto Haru is, maybe like the new Mitaki Yumi at that level. Like pre-Ozeki Mitaki Yumi, who was Sekiwake for like 100 years. I don't know.
So
Maybe
my
that's where he's at.
reasoning is like Wakamoto Haru has been Sekiwake. This will be the 6th time out of the past 7 Basho, and his wins as a Sekiwake were 10, 9, 9, 6, and then last time 9. So he's very much in that 9 to 10 win range. And then Abi, when he's in the Sanyaku ranks most of the time, last time he hit Komosubi about a year ago, 6 and 9. Hit Komosubi 2 Basho later, 6 and 9. And when he got Komosubi last time, 9 and 6. That's an abjuration. He's going to go back to the 6 and 9 record. That's just
I think you mean aberration.
shut up.
Abjuration is a school of spellcasting.
Yeah, I've been watching a lot of Dimension 20 recently, so I'm not shocked that slipped out that
Nice.
way.
In most video games, it's kind of the useless school of spellcasting.
But yeah, that just I am locked in that I'm ignoring Jake. I'm locked in that Wakamoto Haru is going 9 and 6 and Abi's going 6 and 9, and I'm gonna be so happy when that's exactly what happens.
But Ryan, the useless what Jake said goes perfectly what we want with Abi, the useless school of spellcasting. So of course he's gonna go 6 and 9, right? Because that's what his techniques are, the useless school of sumo.
That's true. That's true. Way to pull it all together, Flair. That's why we have you here.
Gotcha.
And to round out the Sanyaku ranks, we have Asanoyama, who got injured at the tail end of the Jungyo tour. It sounded like it was a knee injury. I believe I heard MCL. So one of those very important ligaments in the knee. He just started Shiko stomps in practice earlier today, but could do no more than that. All signs are pointing to him starting the Basho Kyujo once again, which would be the 4th out of 6 Bashos with at least some time spent Kyujo for Asanoyama. So if we reintroduce the power ranking of Rikishi, I think could start the tournament Kyujo. I think Asanoyama's at the top of my list for that. I think I would put Asanoyama most likely, then Takerufuji, then Terunofuji, then Takakeisho.
No argument here. I mean, he's
as I say,
looked like butt
seems
recently,
decent.
so.
What if they use a lot of tape?
I
The
hadn't
Ikioi special,
considered
you
that.
mean?
It will come down to which one of these 4 guys is willing to use the most tape to get out there.
I am waiting for the next guy that has the Terunofuji level, the Tochinoshin level of knee brace and tape just wrapped around each of them. Like, oh no, like Terunofuji, yeah, he's got a lot of tape, but Tochinoshin, that man had tape on his knees.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's talk a little bit about Atami Fuji. He's stalled out a little bit up in the Joy. I think he had like a 6 and 9 record this first time, then followed it up with an 8 and 7 last time. So Mac, what are your expectations for Atami Fuji this Basho with a potentially lessened Sanyaku field? And he doesn't have to face Terunofuji no matter what.
Yeah, that's fair enough. But I still think he's trying to figure himself out. His 6 and 9 record did give me a little pause, but then he bounced back with an 8 and 7. I still like what I'm seeing from him, and I think he is definitely going to be really powerful moving forward. So I'm predicting another 8 and 7, if not a 9 and 6.
All right, so that would get Atami Fuji up into the Sanyaku ranks for the first time in his career. No matter what, he is the top-ranked Maegashira Rikishi, so even 8 wins would force open a new Komosubi slot if nothing were to become available to him. And then one more Rikishi that we've got in the Joy at Maegashira 3, Takayasu. He has 10-plus wins in his last 3 tournaments where he hasn't had to go Kyujo. Fleric, what are the chances we see Takayasu get 10-plus wins this time? Is he a Yusho contender? Like we said, sounds like there could be a fair amount of guys missing in the Sanyaku ranks.
I think a healthy Takayasu can go against most anyone, so I think there's a healthy chance. A lot depends on the severity of his injury, but I'm feeling hopeful for some reason in this podcast. And Takayasu,
What?
I don't know. I'm feeling good about the guy. I'm thinking at least Akachi Koshi.
Yeah, he's in a good position to break my heart thoroughly again.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ugh.
Takayasu's always in a good position to break hearts.
I think here in particular, because he's the last couple times that he's been up this high, he's gotten some good finishes, just to get up into the Sanyaku and get injured again. So
As is tradition.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh God, both of the most recent 2 times that he's made it into the Sanyaku, he's gotten injured and pulled out.
Do you think that it's less?
But the third time,
The Heartbreak King,
Third
the HBK.
time, rules of 3, comedy
Yeah.
101.
Oof.
What would be funnier than if he won a Yusho? I'd laugh really, 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 really hard. Come on.
yeah.
Please
It'd be
make me
so
laugh.
funny.
Jake, pick a Rikishi between the ranks Maegashira 1 through Maegashira 4 that we haven't shown a spotlight on yet.
Oho. I'm really hoping that I'll just like last time, I'm hoping a bunch of our listeners pick him in our listener champ chump and get their hearts broken by him. That was really funny. I'd love to continue that tradition.
Oho going 7-8 last Basho, when I think most people, myself included, were expecting like no more than 4 or 5 wins.
Plus he got that
Completely
Kinboshi,
blowing
which
everything.
yeah. So like a whole bunch of people in our champ chump series picked him as a chump, and then like
He goes and gets a Kinboshi.
yeah. Even with like the 7 and 8, like it wasn't even like a satisfyingly bad pick. It was just kind of like frustrating and middling.
Yep.
No, I don't know. Regardless, Oho still fairly young. If he can kind of stabilize here, that'd be pretty cool. He's a guy that we've always thought had some potential, other than Ryan. But yeah, I don't know. I'm excited to see him here.
I thought he had potential at one point, and then he proved me wrong.
He's barely a child. He's 24. He's got time. To,
He's a baby.
He's a
How
baby.
long ago was that? Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, that's who I'm kind of keeping an eye on. And I mean, Tobizaru and Ura for entertainment's sake, always. But yeah.
Fleric, any Rikishi between the ranks of Maegashira 5 and Maegashira 8 that are catching your eye?
You were talking up when you were talking about Onosho's record against Onosato, and so my eye is on Onosato just having a tear of a Basho and just being the Yusha race till like day 10, and then he starts going against Onosato and wins. I guess like in this scenario that he's gonna at least get Jinyusho if not Yosho. Yosho.
Yusho.
Yeah, Onosho.
These two guys with similar names is just killing me here. I don't know what you're telling me.
Fleric has said Onosato far more times than Onosho. I have no idea who he's talking about anymore.
Names are so similar, and they're so meaninless to be saying them out loud when I'm just reading them right there on my other monitor. But the point still stands. I love
what point?
The fact that exactly. Let's move on.
Can you sum up?
Nope.
We've
got what we've got. We're good.
When I was a wee lad, I love the fact that Onosho apparently has a number against Onosato, and I would love to see this continue and just being the blight spot to otherwise a very bright Rikishi's rise of Onosato. He just cannot figure out this other guy.
As Daisho is to Terunofuji.
Yeah. I know it's going to be the third time that they face each other, but I want the trend to continue.
Third time Onosato will break the streak via Henka.
Oh,
that would be pretty funny. Okay, be funny. Subscribe.
Like Goose says, a funny Henka is a good Henka.
Mac, any Rikishi between the ranks of Maegashira 9 and Maegashira 13 we need to talk about more?
Yeah, a curiosity. Maegashira 10, Shona no Umi. Surprisingly, I was looking back at this guy and thinking, all right, what can I talk about? He has a fighting spirit prize. I'm like, how did he get that? Well, back in the yesteryear of July 2023, he went 10-5 from Maegashira 14. I'm like, dang, so he must have done pretty well after that, right? Nah, 7-8, 7-8, 4-11. Oh God, back to M12 where he went 9-6. I'm like, All right. Okay. So now he's sitting at M10. Not quite as high as M12. Still, I'm betting an 8 and 7 here. So I'm going to be watching him to do an 8 and 7. But yeah, there was that Fighting Spirit prize that kind of caught me off guard.
Yeah, that was the Basho, him, Gonoyama, and Haku Oho all debuted. Same Basho, each of them got 10 or more wins. And that was like the most special prizes handed out in any single tournament as well.
It's just a shame he followed it up with 2 7 and 9s and then a 4 and 11.
Hey, so it's not. It gets harder in the middle ranges of the Bansuke for some people. Not Onosato, apparently, but for some
Apparently not.
But for some people, yeah.
Rikshi's between the ranks of Maegashira 14 to Maegashira 17. We've got Takerufuji back in the top division after he broke his streak of consecutive Makuuchi tournaments. Tomokaze's back in the top division. Tsurugisho just hanging on at the bottom of the division after he had to pull out due to his knee injury. I'll throw Tsurugisho on the list of Rikishi that could start Kyujo. I don't know what state his knee is in, but I'll put him at the
that was
bottom of the list, meaning he's most likely to enter of the people who I think might not enter.
Yes, the top bottom. Got it.
Yeah. And then also Mitoryu is back from Juryo at his career high rank of Maegashira 13. Be interested to see how Mitoryu does this tournament.
I'm low-key rooting against Takerufuji so that Takerufuji and he do not have to be in the top division at the same time and confuse my mouth.
Takerufuji.
Damn it!
I also support this.
I can't even say the first one.
You were trying to make fun of me and you screwed it up. So
no, I was trying to say
there you go.
Takerufuji is a hard one for me because I actually like the guy, but I couldn't even say his name.
Nope, absolutely not. 6 and 9 at best. He can't stay in the top division. Okay, well, I take it back. If Takerufuji does not enter this tournament, then Takerufuji, fine, do whatever you want. But as long as one of them
there
goes
could be
to
only
Juryo.
one.
I like how the existence of Takerufuji makes it impossible for Jake to properly pronounce Takerufuji.
I'm trying to emphasize the difference between them because if I try to say them like in a natural cadence, I will screw them up.
Takerufuji, Takerufuji.
9
Red, yellow,
cocky
lemon.
sock
Damn
cutters.
it!
Cockily cutting socks. 9 cocky sock cutters. Cockily cutting socks.
All right. Let's see. I think we can skip these news items. I just had something about how Miyagino's doing in the Isekahama Bay. He's doing good.
He's paying his dues.
He's paying his dues.
Yep. He's saying the right things. He's seemingly doing the right things.
Shaking hands.
They're not forcing him out of sumo by way of shame at this point. He's in it for the long haul. And also, the day after the announcement of Akebono's death, another former Yokozuna, Asashoryu, was urgently admitted to a hospital. He has since announced that the surgery went well and he is in recovery. Little really is known about what the surgery was for. There are rumors it was cancer related, but that information has not been released to the public, and that is just rumors at this point in time. But it seems like surgery went well for Asashoryu, and he is on the mend.
Good.
With that, we'll take a quick break, and we'll be back with the GSB belt and the Champ Chump predictions. If you enjoy the Grand Sumo Breakdown podcast, you can leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or your favorite podcast listening service.
You can find us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Just search for Grand Sumo Breakdown.
Support the show on Patreon and check out our blog, grandsumobreakdown.wordpress.com.
If you have any questions, comments, or corrections, drop us a line at grandsumobreakdown@gmail.com or give us a call at 805-613-7866. That's 805-613-SUMO.
Also, watch us on YouTube.
All right, over the break, some negotiations were done. Because
Putting
my
the 3 points on the line.
not that negotiation.
Damn it.
Because my punishment is not quite ready, continuing the ongoing tradition of us
Pushing it back one.
pushing our punishments back a little bit. I
Blair
have
You're
found the
welcome.
hack that,
Yeah.
if we don't do it, there's no consequence for
then
not
we
doing
never
it.
have to do it
We
again.
never have to do it.
No,
Mhm.
but my consolation prize for Fleric today, since I was the loser and he was the winner, is I have a shot of Malort here that on when Yokozuna Fleric decides, I will take a shot of Malort, and hopefully that misery brings you joy. Or I mean, Malort's very tasty. Everybody should
Malort
go
is
and have
tasty,
some.
Jake.
It's
What
so
are you
good.
talking about?
Oh, it's the tastiest
Yeah.
of all of the traditional Chicago liqueurs, of course.
I was gonna say this is the meme liqueur from Chicago where it's like so
Yeah.
bad, but they trick everyone to trying it.
That's the
Okay,
one.
I can work with this. I can work with this.
Yeah. So yeah, that's since I don't have a punishment for you, I will have a brief ordeal to go through. For
An
your amusement.
experience.
If you were a real man, you would have made it salted milk.
That
Ooh.
was
Yeah, well,
legitimately the gross. That was grosser than Malort. Yes, that that time we made Mac eat gross things because he forgot to tell us a nightshade allergy when we were going to punish him with hot peppers.
I took that in stride. And the salted milk was wretched.
Sometimes I miss recording in person so we could do these different types of like physical agony punishments instead of like homework punishments.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I should go back to that someday.
I appreciate you bringing it back, though, Jake.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
appreciate it.
It's for old time's sake.
Yes.
For that sweet
All right.
memory.
Real quick, let's touch on the GSB belt. So if this is your first time listening and you are unfamiliar, the GSB belt, this is the third and fourth, but I'll get to that. The third iteration of the GSB belt. Let's see, so we started, it was just last Basho. Yeah, okay. So in the Haru Basho this year, the very first match of the entire Basho was Dewa Taikai versus Sawai Samu. Those are some difficult Shikona. But the very first match was that, and we said whoever wins, they get the inaugural third iteration of the GSB belt. And then whoever beats that guy will take the belt, and so on until the belt makes it all the way up to the Yokozuna. The first time we did this, it took like a little over a year. The second time, it took like 2.5, 3 years because apparently it's very difficult for that belt to pass through the, what did we call it? The Makuuchi. We just said it like 4 times earlier.
The Quagmire.
The Quagmire, yeah. So yeah, we'll see where it goes this time. But the current GSB belt is on Chiyoga, who was Jonokuchi 3 West. Let me see where he is now. Chiyoga. He is at Jonidan 5 East. So yes, he's brought the belt
Moving
up,
on up.
roughly 1 whole division. We'll see where it goes from there. The 4th GSB belt is actually a loser's belt. We're experimenting with this. It started with Terunofuji, and whoever loses to Terunofuji was supposed to take the belt from him, and then whoever loses to that person would take the belt and see how long it takes to go all the way down to the bottom. And then Terunofuji goes and loses his first match to Nishiki, who then lost. Because of that, Terunofuji held the belt rather than giving it away right away.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. And then Ura lost to Terunofuji to take the belt. Then Kirishima lost to Ura to take the belt. A couple more hands, or a couple more changing of the hands, and then it ended up on Koto no Waka, who lost to Kirishima in Kirishima's like only good match last Basho. So yes, the GSB losers belt is starting on Koto Zakura. Whoever loses to Koto Zakura first will take the belt, and so on, and the belt will inevitably move downwards over time.
Did not
We
realize the belt was on Koto Sakura. And there is
Wow.
a
Very
special
stupid.
there is a special rule for that belt, because if somebody were to go Kyujo, like say Koto Sakura's day 1 opponent were to go Kyujo, that means that day 1 opponent lost to Koto Sakura. That's not going to give that person the belt. We don't know when that person's going to come back. So that means we're just not tracking the belt until that person comes back. So if somebody loses by Fusen, they do not get the belt. The belt is just kind of on pause for that day. And then the next matchup for the person who won by Fusen will have the belt on the line.
It has to be an actual match.
Yep. If somebody, that actually did happen last time when Takakeisho went Kyujo, and Kirishima, we just didn't count that one.
Nope.
But if the holder of the belt goes Fusen, we will have to figure out what to do.
Ooh. Yes. We will.
Sounds fun.
That's all I got on that one. We'll touch base on the midway and the recap.
All right. So up next is our champ chump predictions. And tradition that we started last Basho, we have our patrons that play along on the Grand Sumo Breakdown Discord channel. They choose their own champ and chumps. And so we have the winners provide a victory statement, and the losers, if they so wish, provide us with compliments, each of the GSB hosts with compliments. So this time we have 2 winners' statements, as we had a tie for the win in the previous Basho. So the first one, we got an audio file from our co-winner Anna Fance. So here is Anna Fance with her victory statement.
Heya, heya, heya to my favorite Grand Sumo Bea. Gosh, what can I say about this win? I'd like to thank the Academy. I'd like to thank my husband, my mom. Hi, Mom. I'd like to thank Kota Nowaka for being an absolute bamf this Basho. I'd like to thank Nishikigi for just tanking it at every turn, just beans in every opportunity that he had. Yeah, I don't think I will ever find such a prolific chump again. Yeah, but thanks most to you guys, because this champ challenge was really fun. I found myself rooting for Rikishi I'd never rooted before, and that's always a fun experience. So thank you so much, and here's to hopefully many more Yushu champ chumps.
I see
Love that enthusiasm.
We have gone to the Fleric School of Pronunciation for Yusho.
I noticed that. I see you, and I approve. Well done.
I also love the obviously, of course, her mom's listening. Like, of course, why wouldn't?
Hi, Mom.
Obviously. Hi, Mom.
She won a prestigious award. Of course.
Of course she did.
Inform the families.
Inform the families.
And then our other co-winner was Chewy Ken. So Chewy Ken's statement is, time to pick my champ. If there's one thing I've learned about sumo, it's to always bet on the Yokozuna. Let's see here. T Fuji. That must be the one. Let's go Yokozuna Takerufuji. Wait, what do you mean my Bansuke was upside down? My champ's a Maegashira 17 and he's never even been in the top division before? Maybe I'll get lucky and he'll get the first debut Yusho in 110 years. Seriously, though, congratulations to Takerufuji, who exceeded even my lofty expectations, and no thanks to Dayamami, who somehow beat Shodai and Ryuden to barely make Koshi. What a chimp. This was a blast, and thanks to Ryan and Jake and the whole GSB team for running, and to everyone else who participated for excellent picks and great discussions. Dibs on Takerufuji in May. I will say that Chewy Ken did not pick Takerufuji for his champ in May. He's rolling on the Onosato train as of now. We do have a couple of Takerufuji champ picks. I'm wondering if after listening to this episode, if those might be changed.
I know that they called out me and Ryan in particular because we were the two who were the ones totaling the points. But
and that is the correct people to thank.
But I'm still gonna hold it over Mac and Fleric for the rest of forever.
You can try, Jake. You can try.
I wrote a formula to make it easy for screenshots. I did my part.
And I just stay out of the kitchen. I see a winning formula. I just stay out of the kitchen, baby.
Yeah,
He's
and
the
that's
smartest
why
of us all.
we here at Grand Sumo Breakdown, Ryan, Jake, and the rest all appreciate the game, the fantasy games that we play, and the rest of the supporting cast.
Yeah. Speaking of the fantasy games that we play, it is time for us to make our champ and chump.
Wait. Did we hit something from Q Breezy?
We did not.
Aw.
So
shame.
Yeah.
Because Q Breezy lost.
He doesn't respect us enough to compliment us, which I can't blame him.
Props out to Winging It Man. We appreciate you from last time.
Clark, what's up?
Continue.
I was hearing something about we're moving into the next section of where we're starting to pick our champs and chumps. Go ahead. I'll let you. You can tee it up, but I have something to say once you're ready.
All right, it's time to make our champ picks. And as always, we start with the loser of the previous tournament, which is more often than not Jake. So, loser Jake, it is time to make the first champ pick.
Let me interrupt before Fleric can start talking here real quick, because I have a guess. I have an ominous dread that has creeped into my my taste buds.
Yes, if you're the face you were making as the realization dawned upon you, if I could read that correctly, yes, you have guessed correctly. I'm going to pull that punishment that you so generously offered.
Yeah.
You're go ahead and down that Malort. And if you'd be ever so kind to also like mix it with like a Red Bull or some other high caffeinated beverage too, so it hits you like super fast, that'd be fantastic.
Let's not push our luck here, Mr. Yokozuna.
Okay, fine.
All right, let's turn our taste buds into taste foes.
I've never heard that before.
That looked not fun to go down.
That was a heavy pour.
Not heavy enough.
So Jake, 3 points for you're willing to risk 3 points for the one that Ryan the wager that Ryan said before. Yeah.
Over.
I forget what the details are.
Kochizakura, don't make me talk anymore. The air makes it like worse.
Boo. He was supposed to fall to me.
And damn it.
Oh, it's like spicy
He picked too quickly.
grapefruit.
Mac,
What's
you are up next.
Onosato.
Onosato. That leaves me with. I'm not picking Terunofuji. I'm not. Yeah, we'll go Hoshoryu. I thought Onosato was gonna fall to me, and I was gonna feel spicy and take Onosato.
Spicy,
I'm feeling spicy.
I'll go Hoshoryu.
Okay.
You say that, but Onosho's still right there. In between the two.
And I still haven't figured out if you were predicting an Ono show, Jun Yu show, or what was going on.
See, that's a part of the fun right there. It's ambiguous, so I can at the end of it I can say whatever that I won in the end.
He has won the last two, and it has worked out for him.
It sucks. I hate it. He's really good at this for some reason.
I know.
All right, I'm looking at the bottom of the Bonsuke to see if anyone there might randomly get a Yusho, but I am not feeling it this time.
The Makuuchi Suke Dashi making his top division debut.
It's possible, but I am not going down that route.
Hayate, the savior of the GSB belt.
He is. He is the savior of the GSB belt. But no, this is his first time in Makuuchi. I'm gonna wait to the third time before I do anything with him.
Me told you. This is his third stint in the top division.
I think it's gonna come down for me between Terunofuji and Kirishima.
But that's boring.
I know.
And good for you.
I think I'm gonna go with Kirishima. I think he's past whatever issues he had last time, and he has something to prove being down with what's the word when he's an Ozeki who needs to win?
Kataban.
Yeah, he's Kataban. He's got something to prove. And he's gonna accidentally prove himself into a Yusho. So I'm gonna go with Kirishima as my champ.
All right. Fleric, who will you pick as your chump?
Oh my god.
It's just lingering.
Yeah.
Like it's gone from everywhere except like the back of my tongue.
Fleric, do you have the Yokozuna powers to make him drink one more before his chump pick?
No.
Let's find out. Drink one more before my chump pick.
No, I finished it.
Apparently not.
All right. Yes. Fair enough.
I tried. This was the hard one, so I actually am kind of looking through now to see if anyone is kind of over ranked.
Yeah, I don't mind the last one here.
If only there was a podcast
this
episode.
One is tough.
If only there was a podcast episode that talked about everyone's ranking and who was over promoted. If only had some way to know that info.
Not really any over promotions this Basho, and not a whole.
I'm gonna go Noyama.
Go Noyama. Okay.
Let's do it.
Out of left field.
Okay.
It is a left field, but I'm feeling something. I don't know what.
That leaves me with a conundrum because I actually pre-gamed for this and I had, all right, Fleric picks this guy. I'll go with this guy.
With Malort?
No.
Oh, thank God.
So that leaves me choosing between my top two picks of Oho and Mitoryu. Do I think Oho will do as good this time in the same area of the Bansuke, or do I believe Mitoryu will suck in the top division like he always sucks in the top division? It's gonna be more fun for me to cheer against Oho than cheer against Mitoryu, so I'm gonna choose Oho, especially because Jake has forced me into a situation where I will have to situationally cheer against Koto Sakura, and I really hate that because it's been really fun having him as my champ, as I'm also cheering for him personally. So this makes me very angry.
Well,
Suck it.
I'll make you feel better, Ryan. I'll go with Mitori.
It doesn't make me feel better. That's a good pick, Mac. I don't want you to take good picks.
Well, be happy for me.
No. Your happiness in this game equates directly to my unhappiness.
Yeah, there's a set amount of happiness that only people can win. There's
Yeah.
It's
no
a zero-sum game.
Yeah.
exactly.
Well, I'm just happy in general. So deal with that. Anyway, Jake.
I'm gonna go
You're
with
the worst.
Tsurugisho.
He was
Show.
another one I contemplated.
Yeah.
Good call.
But
He's another one
kinda-
that like he if his
might
knee
be
is bad,
okay.
he might even like if he pulls out before the tournament even starts, then I can just pick again. So I might just
Yeah. Nope. Good game.
yeah.
Good,
I don't know.
Good gaming.
That's kind of where I'm thinking.
Could also pick Terunofuji. He also might not show up.
Big brain.
Ooh.
Big brain it.
I don't think that's a big
Think
brain
about
move. I think that's another like high risk, mediocre reward kind of like your bet that you guys had to try to convince me to take.
No,
Yeah, it
for
was
us,
great, right?
for us, it was mediocre risk, mediocre reward. For you, it's high risk, high reward. I still think that's a great pick for you.
I'm not gonna do it.
Should I write it down? It feels like you're on the fence.
Oh my god. Okay.
All right. It's getting late. Get me out, Ryan.
The
Before I
punishment.
fall for a casino again.
The punishment for the loser this Basho, as it's going to be probably from here on out for the foreseeable future, it's going to be Yokozuna's choice. So whoever wins will figure out what the worst thing will be for whoever loses.
What can we assign you that you will actually
There we
do?
It's getting tougher and tougher.
It gets tougher every tournament.
As we're going to have to delay the Jake punishment to the recap episode.
Maybe the
for-
midway.
Let's do the recap
Let's give
episode.
you a
More recap. More people
More
to see.
people.
Oh,
We'll
I
give you
see.
more time.
You don't
Yeah.
care
Give
about the
more
time.
time.
You'd rather have more people see it. Got it.
Yes.
Okay. I can live with
Yeah.
that.
And
And if you
so-
don't have one done by midway, that's going to be more Malort, right?
Ooh.
You set the
I-
precedent.
I won't commit to that yet. If I feel bad for some other reason, maybe I'll think about it.
So yeah, Jake's punishment, we will be booting to the recap, and the mystery of Flaric's mystery will continue on as we await to figure out what is at the end of the mystery of Flaric's punishment. We don't know. Is this the mystery he's been writing the entire time? Is it he been playing the long game? Is this the most meta of all punishments by Flaric right now? By not doing the punishment, is he creating the mystery of where is the mystery?
That is the mystery indeed.
He's dropped precisely 23 clues in this episode itself.
You'll have to go back in 2 years' time when this has all been wrapped up, re-listen to the episodes, and it'll all make sense.
Yeah.
Somehow that like confusion between Onosato and Onosho.
That was
That was
the key.
the clue that you needed.
That was the key.
That's the turnkey right there. So yeah, no punishments for you this episode. Hopefully at least one on the recap. Never gonna put any faith in the mystery happening. If
Sure is
you-
mysterious.
It is awfully
it is
mysterious.
very
Oh, no.
mysterious.
Oh no.
If you have any bold predictions, hit us up on Twitter, hit us up in the Grand Sumo Breakdown Discord, YouTube comments, email us, however you want. Get us your bold predictions. Whoever has the best bold prediction after this Basho will win a free Grand Sumo Breakdown t-shirt, of which there is a new design available if you are so interested. Hey, go to redbubble.com for anybody to purchase a Grand Sumo Breakdown t-shirt if you want to show off your fandom for your favorite sumo podcast. You don't have to wait to win it in the bold predictions.
Link
It's
in the
also
description.
linked. It's also linked on our blog as well,
Mhm.
I hear.
Finally.
Yeah.
Yeah, for like 5 years now, we just kind of forgot, like, oh yeah, we could just put a link on that
that
website.
blog that we put out there.
that their
yeah.
website
Yeah.
thing we got.
Their website.
At the behest of Jake and Fleric, I've been told to wrap this up quickly. So what everybody is most excited for me, Onosato Sanyaku debut. Can he keep it rolling? Mac, what are you most excited for?
Ditto. Let's see if he can keep it moving.
Fleric.
Dear, I hope I win so bad. I don't want to do another punishment with Go Kirishima.
You just need to not lose, Fleric.
So far, so good.
And Jake,
Koto Zakura with the debut with the new legendary name. Let's see if he can live up to it.
with a caveat to my most excited, if Takerufuji somehow competes and makes it past like the first week, really want to see how he does as well.
Yeah, that's fair.
But most seriously for me though, Onosato, I have all eyes on him. I actually do feel like he can maybe do some damage this Basho. So
I will assume from
go watch
here on out that anytime you refer to Onosho, you accidentally met Onosato. So
I'm okay with this. That's less work for me. So if you could just translate that every single time, Ryan, I'd be very grateful.
yeah, and Jake, just say Takerufuji every time. I'll let people know who you meant by context.
I'll slur it just a little bit, just for a tiny bit of doubt.
There you go. All right, that wraps up our preview of the Natsu 2024 Basho. Promises to be exciting. There's a lot of unknowns heading into the tournament itself, a lot more than usual. The Basho will be starting on Sunday, May 12th. So you have a cocktail of Mother's Day, sumo starting, and celebrating your favorite sumo podcaster's birthday. That is, of course, myself, my birthday on May 12th. Everybody wish me a happy birthday. If you don't, I don't know. I'll just be very sad. And
You have to
lonely.
drink Malort.
You have to drink Malort.
So thank you to everybody for listening to Grand Sumo Breakdown. Until next time, throw your salt high and keep moving forward.